All right, question number 9 has 3 parts. According to a study done by Nick Wilson of the Otago University, Wellington, the probability of a randomly selected individual will not cover his or her mouth when sneezing is 0.267. We're going to suppose you sit on a bench at a mall, observe people's habits as they sneeze. We're going to complete parts A through C. So I want to know what's the probability that among 12, exactly 4 do not cover their mouth. So that's part A. We know that we're dealing with 12, so N is equal to 12. We got fixed number of trials. We got a probability of success, which is 0.267. Now, our success is defined as not covering their mouth, although we wouldn't want people to cover their mouth. And we want to find the probability that we get exactly 4. So we're looking for probability that X is equal to 4. So this is not one of those easy probabilities. We'll use the StatCrunch. Somehow a little error, StatCrunch. There we go. Okay, stat, calculators, binomial. We're going to go to 12.267. We want exactly 4, and we want equal to 4. It computes as 0.2096. Okay, so 0.2096. All right, B, we want to know what's the probability that fewer than 3. So usually with the probability tables, if we had X is less than 3, the probability of the table only shows less than or equal to, as if we're using the chart. So you need to convert what that equals to, or translate what that equals to. So that means less than 3 would be 0, 1, or 2. So if you were using the table to compute this, you would need to translate what does less than 3 mean. So this is the same thing as saying probability that X would be less than or equal to 2. I think our StatCrunch will handle less than 3, but I do want to show you that it's computing 0, 1, and 2. Less than 3, you need to translate what that means. So we use our StatCrunch. We have 12, still same probability of success. We're going to say less than 3. Okay, less than 3, 0.3399 when rounded. Okay, now if I do less than or equal to 2, based on what we just translated, less than or equal to 2, we still get that 0.3399 when rounded. So just be aware of that if you're using the table. Understand that less than is less than or equal to, and the table gives us less than or equal to. So we're going to look at 0.3399. Fewer than 3 do not cover their mouth. All right, part C. Would it be surprising if after observing 12 individuals, fewer than half covered their mouth when sneezing? Okay, so now we're being asked the opposite side of the spectrum. So the probability that they do not cover their mouth was 0.67. Probability that they cover their mouth would be equal to 1 minus the probability that they don't, which is 1 minus 0.267. So we're going to end up using this as our probability now. So the probability that they cover their mouth would be 0.733. So this is the probability we're going to be using now. So 0.733. We want to know the probability that fewer than half. So I'm looking for the probability that X is less than 6, fewer than half. So we're going to use our StatCrunch. We still have 12. Probability has changed. We're looking at 0.733. So the probability hasn't changed, but we're just looking at the other side of it. So we want to find out if fewer than half cover their math. So I'm going to say less than 6. Would it be strange? So same number of trials. We're looking at that failure rate now, which is the opposite of not covering your mouth. So we're covering our mouth. Fewer than half would be half of the 12 that we're looking at. So that's how we get the 6. And we come up with a probability that 0.0207. This 0.2 is less than the 5%, so that would be unusual if less than half cover their mouth. So 0.0206 is what we're going to look at. So we're going to say yes, it would be surprising. The probability 0.0206 when rounded to 4 decimal places, which is less than the 0.05. Let's say one or more is incorrect. Okay, I typed in the wrong thing, 0.0206.